Okay, so this is the Wacom 22HD. It has one major problem that nobody ever mentions. These ton of cables. So these are fixed into the machine and you can't take them out without taking out 10 screws, which isn't ideal. Now you may be wondering, how do I have these cables then? Because I've taken them out. So this video is going to be how to replace these cables with an actual port on the machine. So let's get started. So first, you want to clear off your workspace. The tablet is on the stand, so what you're going to want to do is turn it off and pull it up. You want to be careful with the screen because this easily scratches, and you want to place it face down, careful not to scratch the screen. Make sure this is unplugged while you're doing this. So now that you've got this, we want to zoom in the camera and show you more specifically what you need to do. Okay, so what we see on the back, you can see that I've done the HDMI cable. It's kind of loose, but it works. I can't really complain. You see it had DVI before, but since you're just using an adapter, which I'll show you in a moment, you can adapt it to anything. So if you want HDMI, just put HDMI on it. So we want to grab our iFixit toolkit and grab a Phillips bit. So first we need to remove this bracket and just undo these screws. There we are, so just take your screws out, make sure you don't mix these up, because you'll use 3 screw types in here, so just make sure that you keep them separate. And this just pops off. Now this you can split. So that just splits like that. So from here, you need to take off this back plate here. So there's 2 screws here. Then you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just careful with those screws that are quite indented, because those can strip easily. So now that you've done this, you just pop off this panel and you can see the inside. So there we are. So you can see what I've done here is that is a DVI-D cable. So it's a digital cable. If you wonder what connection it's supposed to look like, it looks like that. So look for an adapter that looks like that. You can get ones with some more pins here and here. Just make sure that it supports your Wacom tablet before you buy it. Okay, so now that we've got this, we need to put in our USB adapter so we can actually use it as a Wacom tablet. So I bought this cheapo thing. If you're ambitious, you could go for USB-C. So as long as you had the right adapter that worked, you could go for any adapter cable. You could even put like DisplayPort on this if you were that ambitious. Then it's just lining it up and putting it in. So there we are. This cable was like that, and then we just need to reroute the cables. Since this is quite a thin cable, what I've done is I've routed it under there and over there, so that should be fine. And then you just want to route it under here, coming out the top. Then it's as simple as putting your cable through and just lining it back up. And just make sure your cables go through the top bit here, and then just screw it back in. So there we are. So what you're going to do on this one, this clamps down like that, so the split is in the middle, so you can line one up there and then just line them up. You just need to make sure your power cable comes through there, your HDMI cable and your USB-B cable. Now I would just make sure, if you're doing it in a vase mount, these cables will come out down here. If you're using it on the stand, then these cables come out here. And then you just screw them in. Now ideally, you'd make your own length cables for this, because the ideal length would be about 40 centimeters. Well, the only DVI to HDMI cable I could find was a 30 centimeter, which just about worked, which is why it's so short here. Maybe a 35 to 40 centimeter would be fine. And then the USB-B cable, I could only find a 50 centimeter, which is why it's so much longer. So, but if it works, it works. And there we are, that's done. There we are. That works. The fact that it didn't come with this out of the factory, whether it's moulded into the plastic or whether it's just a cable sticking out, is quite frankly stupid. The fact that you have to mod this into the machine, you have such long lengths on the cable that it just clutters up your entire desk. You can see I already have too many cables, I don't need any more. Like, comment, subscribe, all that YouTube stuff. If you would like to see me attempt moulding it into the plastic so it's a bit more of an elegant solution, then leave a comment and a like and I'll think about it, because it's going to cost me money to do. So like, comment, subscribe, all that YouTube stuff, and I will see you in the next one.